All right, guys. Thank you so much first for your time today.
Thank you.
My first question would be to Jim. How difficult was sort of finding both the comedy and the humanity sort of behind the monstrous behavior that your character displays throughout most of the series?
Yeah, not quite as hard as it might appear that it would have been. As far as the comedy goes, the writing really was the key to that. It was just they had such a beautiful rhythm to it and set up such quick turning situations that are just intrinsically funny if you play them right. And then as far as the humanity goes, luckily it was a real character. And there was enough reading material on him that went in depth enough in his life that gave me a real empathy for him. And I felt that as despicable as he could be, he literally was a real person and went through his own trials and tribulations on this earth. And I just kind of tried to carry that with me when I went through some of the not very pretty things he sometimes did.
All right, thank you. Jeremy, do you think that there is room in the industry today for Archie's boldness and bravery that he gets to display and sort of his arc?
Absolutely. I think this generation as actors and as activists, we are pushing the needle forward. I think I've had the opportunity, whether on stage or now in this project with Ryan Murphy, it feels like the projects that I'm working on are a little bit bigger than me, bigger than Archie. It feels like I'm bringing a community of Black individuals, of Black creative, queer individuals that are looking to be seen and felt and heard. So that's exciting. That's something that I have to lean into and be bold and daring and know that it may feel uncomfortable or unfamiliar, but something that all the characters are fighting for is equal opportunity, which they should have. So we're kind of creating that fantasy world for them. So I absolutely believe in 2020, Archie should be able to thrive and be all that he wants to be.
Good. That's good to hear. Jake, were you sort of liberated by the fact that you're not doing an actual biopic on Rock Hudson, and that this is sort of a different path or a different version? Did that sort of put the pressure off to do your performance in this?
Yes and no. I think Ryan uses the word faction. I think we tried to stay, as close to, the essence of who Rock Hudson was and his rise to stardom as possible. And, I think those slight changes are intertwined without giving away too much, I guess more towards the end of the series. But yeah, there is a certain level of obligation and that gravity that you feel, certainly, showing up on set first few days and you almost feel that there's a presence, watching, and you want to do everything you can. So I think it was, my job just to be present in the scene and work with, amazing, talented people like Jeremy and Jim.
Okay. Jim, the show sort of gives everybody a shot at, most of the characters a shot at redemption, but Henry is really not let off the hook. What was your reaction? Because he is sort of when we leave him, he's sort of en road to redemption, but he's not let off the hook by the things that he did. So I want your take on that.
It seemed, and I wasn't the writer, obviously, but my feeling when I read the final episode, when I was doing the scenes, was there was no way in my head that there wasn't some parallel to what's gone on in the past couple of years in Hollywood these days. And that maybe it's not the time maybe to let people off the hook as much as it is to just reckon with things and just take in the facts and still kind of absorb it. And I feel that's sort of what happens with Henry. One of the things that Henry does get to do as a character that you don't always see is he has real remorse. And he obviously actually feels bad for what he did. And I think that's important. And I think it's important equally that it doesn't lead, like you say, to redemption as much as he's on a journey. And he's on a journey. And whatever this thing that happens in this series with the project that's been worked on it shows how powerful that choice was by the studio and by the people behind it that wanted this thing to happen, because it affected his life, like a Henry Wilson. It changed his life. It may not have changed anybody's perception of him yet, but he's definitely on a journey to somewhere different. That was a long answer. I'm so sorry, but it's a complicated topic.
It's a complicated topic. No, but thank you so much. And my last question, because of time constraint, would be to Jeremy. there's a beautiful moment within Archie's arc about sort of the impact of representation. I wonder if you could share if you've had that moment where you sort of you saw somebody do something and you felt that that would lead the way. I don't know if you've had that.
I mean, there's so many people before me that have, paved the way and done amazing things. And I think each of them can testify to this moment of wondering if there's room or space for you, in a massive way where you can be on a TV show, or, I don't know. These are things that we dream of, but you don't really know if they're will ever come true, at least for me, for my narrative. So it felt easy to understand what that feels like, to have a passion and a dream and talent within yourself that you want to share with the world, but you're just wondering if they're willing and open enough to accept that. So that was something that I was able to lean into for.
All right, guys, so my time's up. The series is beautiful, so thank you so much for your work and your time. You have a good day and stay safe.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.